Welcome everyone, this is the second game in a best out of 7. This is a best out of 7 show match between an awesome Terran player and a great Protoss player. This is the map Metalopolis, the latter version of Metalopolis, and we're watching this show match between SixjaxDDE spawning at the top hand position of this map and Perfect, who is spawning at the right hand side of this map. I'm your host for today. I am EdwardStarcraft, and with me is DigitWombat. If you want to check out what Wombat does, you can take a look at his stream justin.tv/digitwombat and also twitter.com/digitwombat. This show match, this best out of 7 show match, is hosted by Desro of DesroFighting.com. He does a lot of coaching and streaming here on Justin TV as well. If you want to check that out, be sure to go to DesroFighting.com for more coaching information, and also you can go to his stream at DesroFighting.com/stream or justin.tv/DesroFighting. Now, here we have these two players, this Protoss and this Terran player, in close aerial positions, in which, you know, it is, I think, overstated a lot by commentators, but it's nothing to you know, it's also worth pointing out that DDE, they're close air positions, so this could lend to really effective aerial harassment. DDE, you know, I've watched him play, and he's one to change up his style when one thing does not work. And in that game, he saw that his 2-rack expansion did not quite work out for him. And, you know, he's going to be looking for weaknesses in Perfect's build. And when you 3-gateway expand, you're going to have some slight weaknesses, which is, it's a bit harder to get detection. And if DDE goes and maybe opens up with Banshees, which will be really easy to do on this map because, you know, he's spawning really close aerial, then he could get a lot of advantage. But here it looks like DDE opening up with the exact same build as before, as far as we can see, getting a tech lab on his barracks. He's going to be committing to biological units again.
Yeah, I really would like, especially in the close air positions. I always favor, in my, I guess it's more of a play preference, but I always prefer like a very heavy harass and very like heavy aggression from the Terran. I feel like in a lot of ways that's very key to the play style of at least the favorite things that I see. I mean, you got people like Genro who can just take their time and they're super methodical about it, but especially with those close air positions on Metalopolis, like you were saying, I would love to see early harass, you know, and or even just maybe see him 3-racks. We don't ever see that anymore. See him 3-racks and push really strong.
Yeah. Well, this time it looks like DDE going to go for an even more aggressive expansion build, a 1-rack expand. You can notice that DDE though has gotten, oh, he's lifting up his barracks. That's quite interesting. Building a factory there. This is a bit risky for him, and I'm not sure if this is going to work out for him, because you can see, remember last game, Perfect, he just pressured his opponent, and here in this game, DDE is going to be spending a lot of money on economy and also technology at the same time, so he's not going to have much money for units. And here, Perfect actually getting a quick Stargate, which is going to be a really interesting build. In fact, Perfect today will be abusing the fact that DDE and him are in close aerial positions, and you know, without too many Marines, it's going to be very hard for DDE to fend off. Here we can see that he's getting a barracks, so he will be able to get a few Marines soon. But you know, with a relatively small number of Marines, Void Rays, that'll just be so powerful.
Void Rays, yeah. If he wants to throw a couple Phoenixes in there and just, you know, get some free siege tanks, because he's going straight for siege tanks. So no Hellions, no early harass. He's not doing anything to try to shut down the early economy of Perfect at all. And yeah,
yep.
Perfect,
and now
playing the aggressive attack build.
Yeah, and you can see here that Perfect, he's actually building his pylon right outside the range of his opponent's base. So now, like, once he floats his Void Ray over here, he can just warp in a few Zealots, and now that's going to be a huge difficult decision here for DDE. Now, do I attack the Zealots and get attacked by the Void Ray, or do I attack the Void Ray and get killed by the Zealots? Remember, Marines die in, I think, 3 or 4 swipes from a Zealot, which is really incredibly fast. And when you can warp a few Zealots at a time, especially with the aid of Chrono Boost, that's just going to be very, very devastating. Now we have a Scout coming up from DDE, and DDE, ooh, there is a sentry, but it just walks straight by the Scout, and this could be actually big. DDE seeing these 3 gateways. Now he's going to go and probably find the Stargate. I mean, you'd be, oh, there he does. He sees the Stargate, and this is going to be very difficult. You can see DDE, the first unit he's getting out of this building is a Raven, and the Raven does not quite do a very good job against Void Rays, against Zealots. I mean, they can help against Stalkers, but it takes time to charge them up. Now DDE has amassed a decent force of Marines, and now here is a confrontation between these two players, and it's hard to tell who is the victor so far. Let's take a look at Army Supply, and Army Supply DDE is slightly ahead. He has a lot of Marines, so you know, as long as he can keep his Marines alive, that will be great. And he does have this bunker over here, so I'm not sure how Perfect is going to break this.
Yeah, the big problem right now, I think, is I mean, it's really on DDE right now. He needs to bust out. He needs to shut this soft contain down immediately, because that's really all Perfect needs to do. Perfect's got his expansion going up. You know, he really just needs to soft contain for a little while, push the macro advantage, because he went for that early aggression. And it's sad to see that Void Ray go down, actually.
Yeah, that was a huge blunder there for Perfect. I mean, if he could just keep DDE with his Marine troops split up, you know, want some at one side, it's a very difficult decision, you know, which side to send your Marines to. And so now here we have the onslaught here from Perfect. He takes down one of these supply depots. This is why most people do not indeed wall off their base, because now DDE just losing these supply depots. He is supply blocked. He has to rebuild those supply depots. Not something you want to do as a Terran player. And here, no, really nice micro off of Perfect. You can see that he's keeping his Void Rays alive. Going to take down yet another, oh, maybe not. But still, here, very, very effective on Perfect's part, and now he's getting his expansion up and running, and he should be able to start out macroing his opponent DDE in a little bit, as long as he can keep this contain up.
Absolutely, and the fact that he stopped Siege Tank is absolutely, like, the fact, if Siege Tech had finished, I mean, so losing that Void Ray, not so bad now. Since he did manage to kill that Tech Lab, stop Siege Tech from finishing up, that means he's going to be able to lay this contain on for a lot longer, at least until Siege Tech gets done. We'll be able to push and be super aggressive. As soon as Siege Tech gets done, he's going to be in a lot of trouble, though. He's going to need to get out of there without overcommitting. Doesn't want those units getting blown up by nasty, angry Siege Tanks.
Yeah, of course, and you know, with sentries, it's very easy to make sure, oh yeah, you know, I just force field off so you can't leave your base, and I'm back at my base and you can't attack. Now again, Void Ray harassment going on in DDE's mineral line. Now Perfect is focusing down these mules. There's one Viking here from DDE, and remember, you need to get a decent number of Vikings to actually kill Void Rays. 2 Vikings per Void Ray, I think, is the magic number. But yeah, I mean, here, Perfect, he's starting to get this extra income. He's starting to build up, you know, extra harvesters, extra units. I mean, DDE, he has 38 harvesters off of one base, which is definitely, he's oversaturated here. Now, Siege Tech did finish, so now Perfect is going to have to run away with his units. And, you know, actually, no. Oh, Perfect. Just taking some damage over here. Not the thing you want to do. And, yeah, I think he's going to...
he's got the message now, yeah.
He's got the message. You got your big guns. Well, I guess I got my expansion. So, decent trade for Perfect, but look at the supply still. Even after all that harassment, I have to say, DDE doing an excellent job here. 94 out of 94 supply, still keeping even with Perfect, because you can see that he's killed a few more units than Perfect has killed for him, being the aggressor over here. Units killed, 11 units killed for DDE, only 4 for Perfect, but that contain, how useful will that contain be? Well, now DDE transferring workers or getting his expansion all saturated, that should actually work in his favor in a bit. And ooh, Perfect, his army kind of out of position. Yeah, you don't want to keep your army up on top of a small ramp like that when you have an opponent with splash units and a lot of Marines. Now, this is looking like a very scary push here from DDE. I mean,
yeah, ooh, he'll have the ability to hit the high ground. Ooh.
Yeah, even taking advantage of this this high ground, I really like that because now DDE can slowly ferry up his units up this ramp. It's usually used a little more against Zerg, but you know, Perfect, he's trying to get out a few you know, immortals, and if he gets a few more immortals, he should be able to take out these tanks if they do get caught out of position. But it looks like we might have an engagement right now. All of those Marines just taking down a lot of those zealots, those stalkers going down very quickly. They cannot do any damage because of that point defense drone, and this is looking like a terrible position for Perfect now. He's down by 40 supply, and I'm not sure what he can do here.
Yeah, I think that might be it for Perfect. He is really going to need super clutch force fields, but the ability to hit that high ground because of the aerial units is really just going to shut a lot of that down immediately.
And nice force field there. Actually, I'm not sure if that's the best force field there for Perfect.
Yeah, it might be able to buy it.
Yeah, he's going to lose all of his probes. I think that's pretty much game for him. Now, he can try to stay in the game for a bit longer. And I mean, of course, there can be comebacks, but after, even losing his robotics bay. Oh, that is just terrible. Now he won't even be able to get extended range for his Colossus. It will be very difficult for him to kill the Marines, and those Marines will just really do the damage. I mean, Perfect has no upgrades on his Zealots, on his Stalkers, and really without upgrades, Zealot Stalkers are not very good against Marines.
No, not good at all, especially, and that extended thermal lance would have been, I mean, it's gone already, it's not even worth mentioning now, but it would have been so integral to Perfect staying alive through that attack, because he could have just hit so far away, and there's the GG. Perfect knows